Hey guys, back with the Echoing Thoughts podcast here, episode number 58. And just like promised, I got a Cygnus Knights main Thunderbreaker. Great conversation with Steven. He's a Thunderbreaker in Inoysis, NA Inoysis. I think it's like 26 mil cap. Um, Shout out to Snack Guild. Shouts them out a lot. But yeah, great conversation with him. Learned a lot about Thunderbreaker. He talks about how they were, um, how we got into Maple, how we got into Thunderbreaker class, what the current meta is with them, what tier he believes they are to be in. He thinks, I mean, if you've seen the charts, the lines are insane. Um, their mobility is great. They have their iframe. He talks about all of that, and he just gets into great conversation, just hyping it up. It's a great class right now. It seems to be you know, one of the best classes in the game, right? I don't know which Cygnus Light is going to be the best, but it feels like Thunderbreaker, if you love pirates, if you want something new, if you want something that a lot of people aren't playing, um, I think it's for you. It's got great mobility. It's got good mobbing. It's very unique playstyle. It's got good burst. It has great 3 minute lines. Um, it can benefit from having cap. It can benefit from having more stats, lower cap. It's got it all, in my opinion. Arguably the best pirate class in the game, lines wise. Arcs are still very good, but it feels like Thunderbreaker is in a great spot as well. So definitely check it out. It's a great long conversation. We're just chatting. Um, just just chatting. It was a great conversation. I want to thank him for coming out. It was very last minute, and we chatted on a Friday night, late Friday night. So thank you to him. Shout out to the Snack Guild and Gnosis. And here's basically the conversation just in full um, with Steven Quinchance. Thunderbreaker. Let's get it. All right, we are back. This is my first podcast post, well, with a Cygnus Knights main. I got Steven here. He is a Thunderbreaker from Inosis. Um, what guild are you in?
Snack.
Snack. Shout out Snack.
Snack.
Yeah, you want to shout him out,
Yes.
right? Yeah.
Love snack. Yes. I'll
um,
probably, over the course of the conversation, I might, throw a couple names out there. Maybe. We'll see.
yeah. All right. So he's the first guest that I got Cygnus Knights post Cygnus Knights remaster Thunderbreaker. It was exciting to hear from you. I know someone reached out, a mutual friend kind of just reached out to me, said that, you're a Thunderbreaker. So I appreciate you for hopping on and talking about your class.
Absolutely. Thank you for the invite. I really appreciate it. Kind of
Yeah.
cool to do this.
No, I appreciate it. I think you're the first person to do face cam as well. So I appreciate that as well.
Really? Oh,
Makes it a
wow.
lot more you know, personable. So
It
let's
does. Yeah. I chalk it up to just my work. I'm on Facecam all the
yeah,
time because of work. This new
I get
world
it.
we live in.
Right.
Uh,
Nice. Yeah, I appreciate that. So we'll kind of just get into it. I always like to ask a guest, a little bit about your background, your origin story about Maple before we get into, current meta and stuff like that. So I would just love to hear your origin story. What got you into Maple Mobile? Was it PC? And kind of what got you playing Thunderbreaker and kind of your history with that. Did you start from the beginning? Did you re-roll into it? What kind of just talk about that?
Absolutely. So I did play Maple PC long time ago, 2005, six. I'm honestly, I couldn't give you the exact year, but let's call it around that time. I did play Maple Mobile, restricted to call it up to maximum of an hour a night. Back then, so I did not get my character. I made a bowmaster. I did not get the bowmaster very far, and then I had my two buddies who I'll bring them up multiple times, John and Nate, and I got their permission to shout them out. John and Nate were the ones who got me hooked on
Yeah.
Maplestory the original time all those years ago, and the three of us. I think Nate made the Night Lord, John made the Ice Lightning Mage, and I made a Bowmaster, and we played for a little bit, got the characters up to around level 50, and then we doubled back and became kind of obsessed with that whole trying to make a strong beginner class and never leave Maple Island, and admittedly probably terrorized some of the other players who were just starting their characters, and
Yeah.
just shenanigans that middle school kids, middle school boys, I should say, get up to.
Right.
But yeah, I only played Maple for probably a year at that point, and then there was a bit of a break. Got back into it years later in college, and made a Cannoneer. I think Cannoneer, now that I think about it, I think it was one of the newer classes at the time. Don't quote me on that. I might be completely wrong there, but it was definitely one of the newer pirates. And I knew I wanted to play as a pirate, and I picked the Cannoneer. I don't really have a deep reason as to why. But I picked it, really liked it. And I played for, again, about a year. This time I was more committed. So I got the character up to like 175 to 180, somewhere in that 5-level range.
Yeah.
I was in a guild called Maple Tards. Now that I think about it, yeah, it was a weird guild name. I believe I was in Caney. I don't know the correct pronunciation of that server.
Right.
It was the Khaini.
Well,
I
I
know
couldn't
people
tell you.
said Kaini or Caney,
Yeah.
whatever you want
Yeah.
to call it. I was in that server, and Maple Tards was the name of the guild that I was in. And then another hiatus away from Maple, and got to bring John and Nate back into it. They got me. They suckered me in. I shouldn't say suckered, because I made the choice myself. But they got me into it again, and this time it was a mobile version. And they said, "Hey, we've been playing Maplestory again, Steven." And I was just like, "No way, really?" And on PC, and they were like, "No, it's a mobile game now." I couldn't believe it, and I
Yeah.
resisted them for about a month. Yeah, about a month, and then downloaded the app in around December of 2018. So the game launched, I want to say, summer of 2018. So I was 6 months late to the party, so to speak. And I created the Thunderbreaker from them. Day one. The
Day
very
one.
first class, yeah, my very first character that I created, it was always going to be, I knew the name was going to be Quinchance. So Quinchance is the name that I give to every female character that I create in any video game that I play. Anytime, obviously, you can create a character. Of course, there's lots of games where you play just as the main character. I'm going to shout out The Witcher 3, which is a phenomenal game, and you play as Geralt of Rivia. Anyway, no, for all I got sidetracked. For any game where you create your own character, if I'm creating a male character, I usually just call it Steven or something else. But if it's a female character, I always go Quinchance, and that's a character that I created just for a story that I was writing a long time ago, back when writing was a big hobby of mine.
I like
So
it.
Thunderbreaker, day one, been a Thunderbreaker ever since. I'd be lying to you if I told you I never thought I was going to reroll, because there were definitely times way back when I was like, you know what, maybe I'll reroll to Arc when it comes out. Same weapon, it's an easier shift, right? There's not a lot of gear changes.
Yeah.
But as the years, I can't believe I have to say years, as the years rolled by,
Yeah.
I realized I'm never re-rolling. I just appreciate the Thunderbreaker too much. It really, well, I mean, don't worry. I know how strong the Thunderbreaker is now after this revamp. I'm not going to complain at all. The Thunderbreaker is
Yeah.
busted now.
Oh,
I
okay.
get that.
Yeah.
But it has gone through an absolute roller coaster in terms of where it has ranked relative to other classes. And when I first joined, it was I hate saying weak, because then it implies that like TV's weak, and my ego won't let me say that. It struggled, though.
Yeah.
Survivability on the Thunderbreaker was a challenge, big time.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm going to go back SF 144, back when we all were in 144, when that was the best map.
Yeah.
I guess it still is for alt training, but when it was the best map for your mains, I had pretty solid gear, like mostly mythic emblems, if not all mythic emblems, and I was still dying. Everything was at level 30. This is before you could exalt beyond 30. Everything was at 30, and I mean, I was still dying. The Thunderbreaker really had a lot of trouble surviving, especially if it wasn't a full party with some good map clearers. So I missed a lot of overnight parties, or I shouldn't say I missed them. I would start in a party, and
Yeah.
I think the dream scenario for a lot of people is you put yourself in a party, you go to bed, you wake up, and you're good. You're still going.
Right. Yeah.
I woke up dead a lot,
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
is a weird thing to say. But yeah, I woke up and Quinn was floating, a little ghost floating,
Right.
quite often. So Thunderbreaker went through a lot of those struggles, but I liked it because at least when it came to the bossing content
Mhm.
and the guild competition content, it made things a little bit more fun than if it was just kind of easy tap 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 click 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 and nothing ever happens. And
Yeah.
I won't name any names, but there's a couple classes out there that are like that. Where like it's, I mean, when like, I mean, I don't know about you, but like we fail Damien quite a bit. So like
Yeah.
when we run out of time, or when we're like, all right, let's restart. How many classes are still in the run trying to die because they can't die because they're so
That's
strong?
a good point, right? Yeah.
Phantom,
Yeah.
just so OP, it can't die no matter how hard it
Yeah.
tries. Anyway, I digress. I had to make fun of the Phantom.
I I'm right there with you. I'm right there with you. I mean,
But
I
yeah,
I was thinking the same thing.
I like the Thunderbreaker because it was always a little bit of a challenge. I'm not going to say the main skills are nearly as complex and interesting as what you have to do for an Evan or a Sia. And I
Mhm.
realize some people say those differently than I just said them, but that's how I say Evan and
Yeah,
Sia.
that's how I
So,
say it. Yeah.
good. All right. The skill combos that you need for them. I know Blaster has a lot of mechanics going on. I get
Yeah.
that, but I always just felt like Thunderbreaker, because it had to survive and because there was some timing mechanisms associated with when our hypers were good to go. I always felt that it was kind of fun for me
Hmm.
because I had to dodge all the attacks. I couldn't get hit by anything.
Mm.
No magic guard, and Thunderbreaker defense was not always a great thing.
Yeah.
So a lot of dodging, a lot of timing of stuff, and no, the skills, the animations are kind of cool in my
Yeah.
opinion. Who doesn't like lightning and sharks?
Yeah. No, I think, this is all kind of new to me, right? I've just recently started playing a Thunderbreaker, just trying to get, I think my highest is like 150. So I just got that 150
Yep.
hyper, which is the one that,
Primal Bolt.
yeah, Primal Bolt, right? You can just kind of spam
Yep.
it, right?
Yep. Yeah.
So I
For
was,
45 seconds, the Thunderbreaker is. I don't know if you're an anime fan, but if you're Seven Deadly Sins,
right.
Escanor at noon for 1 minute, he is the
Oh,
one.
right, right, right. Yeah,
Yeah, so
he
I
gets
like saying
jacked.
for
He gets huge,
45
yeah.
for 45 seconds, Thunderbreaker is the one, and then Primal Bolt goes away, and
Yeah.
we're back to normal.
So so I guess I wanted to talk about, pre remaster leading up to remaster, right? You've kind of known
Yeah,
from probably from KMSM that Cygnus Lights were going to get a remaster, probably anticipating that it was going to come last year. What was your, I guess, when did you expect remaster to come? Were you like anxious? Were you getting upset, frustrated, that it wasn't coming, earlier? Or are you kind of just more relieved and like kind of just living in the moment, just kind of, glad that it's
yeah,
here? What is your stance
um,
on that?
yeah. I mean, there was so many people in Snack and just around Inoysis who were honestly like the community that I have kind of been a part of within Inoysis. We're all realistic about timing on stuff, so I don't
Yeah.
think anyone was optimistic that this revamp was going to happen in early or even the first half of 2023.
Yeah.
Um, I think we had a couple people who were kind of hoping it was going to be like a fall of 23 kind of thing, but I don't know. I always felt like the Thunderbreaker was decent, and there was a stretch, I want to say a couple years ago, maybe right when the pandemic hit, where the Thunderbreaker was pretty good
Hmm.
relative to some of the other classes. It was definitely before the Explorer revamp,
Hmm.
absolutely before that, because after that Explorer revamp, and then when the DB came out, and the Blaster came out, subsequent to that, I mean, those classes just took off.
Yeah.
The Blaster and the DB were insanely strong, and Thunderbreaker definitely fell behind. But there was a little bit of a stretch there where the Thunderbreaker was pretty competitive. I'm nowhere close now to some of the people in the Love Guild. I acknowledge that, but there was a stretch there where I was competing for like one of the top 4 or 5 spots in Guild Honor Battle every month.
Mm.
I won one time. I came in first.
Yeah.
One
That was
time
back
as a
when
Thunderbreaker.
Cap was probably like
Cap
15,
was probably around
14, 15.
yeah, it was sub 15 back then.
Before the big kind of explosion of 2023 beginning,
Yes.
right? Yeah.
Yes.
With
Yes,
lines, it was all
absolutely. It
lines,
was
right? Yeah.
yeah, it was all lines. So Thunderbreaker was pretty good. And I,
Yeah.
I was fine with that for a long time. And
Yeah.
because Snack was, and again, shout out to Snack, and I am going to shout out Shirley and James because the two of them they launched Snack together, and they've done a sensational job just kind of keeping this guild alive. I mean, it's practically a job to be a guild master. I'm sure
Uh-huh.
you know that
Yeah.
it can't be fun at times, and the two of them have just really done a fantastic job. Um, so I remember we as a guild were always trying to stay up on all of the new content. We, even if we weren't fully ready to take it on, we were still trying and practicing and
Mm.
failing, trying and practicing, and just, still just trying to grind it out. And I was always fine with that.
Yeah.
And then when we passed, I always felt like Thunderbreaker was pretty good. I'd get used to a run. And my first run on everything, and I'm gonna go back to when Chaos Vellum was first launched. Like, oh my god, when that my first run of Chaos Vellum, and there's probably a couple people who I would love them to see this video and just have a good chuckle to themselves because my first Chaos Vellum run was a disaster. It was an absolute
Yeah.
disaster. I must have died 25 times, if not more. And I was screaming. I was just like, where are these tails coming from? Like,
That's actually
I was,
crazy.
yeah, I
Crazy to
was
look
like
back on that
so
time.
overwhelmed. I was like, there's like 3 tails at one
Yeah.
time. No one
Yeah.
told me this was going to
Yeah.
happen. Someone probably told me. I just didn't
Yeah.
listen.
Yeah.
I was so shocked at just how crazy Chaos Vellum was. I mean,
Oh yeah,
you
that
look
was
at
a
it now and you compare it to Damien, it's like a piece of
but
cake. But
but it was a beast back then, man. It was like the last everything was coming down to the last second, right? Kind of RNG
yeah,
as well. Like
yeah,
if you got a point didn't get a poison phase at the end, like you couldn't
yeah,
get any burst up, do any damage, and yeah. All right.
yeah. But it was good fun. It was good
Yeah.
fun. I always felt like I was, I was able to do the new content. It took me a few runs to get to the point where I wasn't dead every 20 seconds. But
Yeah.
the Thunderbreaker was always there, and I was always competitive. And I admit I wailed out a little bit here and there. I still wail out, and so I was strong enough where eventually I was once I got comfortable with a certain run, I was always trying to help the rest of the guild clear.
Hmm. Yeah.
So there was always a group of us that would clear one of the new bosses first, and then we'd be like, all right, let's get as many groups together as we possibly can, and try to get the rest of the guild cleared. And
Nice.
I always felt like I was able to, as a Thunderbreaker, still be a part of that. I never felt like the Thunderbreaker was so far behind that I
Mm.
couldn't do that. And that was
Yeah.
important to me because even though I wasn't the GM, I did want to take a leadership role and help out in the leading of Snack.
Nice.
Um, so because of that, I never was that frustrated that the revamp got delayed. And all right, we could fast forward now to 2023, obviously with the commanders, Lotus and Damien and Ark and Magnus. Again, I was always able to clear those early on with Snack and then help everybody else in the guild get through.
Yeah.
And I like doing that. I like doing that. The community, let's be real, the community is a big reason why most of
Everything.
us
Yeah.
stick
Yeah.
around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what? So I mean, you mentioned clearing bosses first, right? Kind of leading the charge as far as trial and error, failing, kind of learning through practice, right? I guess, I don't think I've ever run with a Thunderbreaker in a long time. So I guess currently, or I guess before, you can talk about before Remaster if you want, with Damien and Lotus, what was Thunderbreaker's kind of standing? Um, how did you feel? What kind of tier they were in? And then I'd love to hear what you think they are now, right? You said they're broken, right? But I don't think
Yeah.
people realize. I don't even realize what Thunderbreakers
So
stays at.
yeah. So I asked a guildie in Snack to share with me just the Excel chart of the lines over
Yeah.
3 minutes.
Yeah.
I'm sure you've seen that, and Thunderbreaker is up there. It's this chart was put together based on like users testing it and then giving their lines.
Yeah.
So obviously this is not like hard facts, but Thunderbreaker was about 18,800
Yeah.
lines over 3 minutes, and that puts them in top 5 for
Yeah.
lines over 3 minutes. Um,
What is
I
do they
Yeah, go
have
ahead.
clones? Do you guys have small
So
lines?
Thunderbreaker does not have clones. Thunderbreaker has their arc charger skill, which it's a
Not
fourth job.
familiar. Not familiar.
So the arc charger, yeah. So the arc charger skill is fourth job skill, and that is the Thunderbreaker equivalent of clones. I don't think they're as strong as clones. Correct me if I'm wrong. Clones do 30%,
I think it depends on the
35.
class. Yeah,
Depends
like
on class. Okay, fair enough.
yep. Yeah.
Yeah. So arc charger lines. I probably shouldn't get that wrong, and I don't know off the top of my head exactly what they are. So I'll quickly pull up Quinn and take a quick look. But arc charger lines are essentially our version of clones. It's for every line that we generate, we have a certain activation chance of generating a new line, and this is
Oh.
obviously on top of that hyper skill. But arc charger will generate a new line at a certain skill damage. I'm going to pull it up right now. So it's
What is the hyper skill
30
you're talking about?
35%. The hyper skill is the one that everybody gets, the additional damage one.
Oh, I see. I see. Okay.
Yeah.
No, no,
So
no.
yeah.
I got you.
Yeah. Arc charger. It's temporarily increasing the additional damage, right? So it's
35.
35% additional damage.
Is it 100% activation chance? Or
That would be linked to one of our passes, I believe. See, I'm still getting used to how things have changed
Mhm.
since this
You're all
revamp, so
good.
I gotta look everything up.
I get it.
Um, max, yeah, I think once you max everything out, it should be 100% activation.
Hmm.
So once you max out all of the lightning boosts, it should be at a 100% activation.
Gotcha.
Additional activation chance 20%, and that stacks all the way up, I believe.
Yeah.
If it doesn't stack up to 100%, it goes up to 80, I believe.
Okay.
80. Yeah, so there's additional, and the base is 20%. So there's the skills give you an additional 20%, and then whatever the base is. So if it's an additional 80% plus a base of 20, then it is 100. Otherwise, if it starts at 0, then it's up to 80%. So either way, it's good enough. But those additional lines are a big part of Thunderbreaker damage without a doubt.
Hmm.
Um, and they don't always cap, which is kind of cool, right? So
Yeah.
it's
Okay.
important for Thunderbreaker to not only go for MDC but also final damage. I mean, I see gains immediately when I add to my final damage.
Yeah.
When if I land every time I landed a magnificent FD soul,
Yeah. Oh, it's
I
big.
saw incremental gains every time
Yeah.
without a doubt.
Yeah. So that's kind of what. So I know that Thunderbreakers, I guess. So you 80,000 lines. What is the burst like? Do you know, like,
Huge.
huge?
Huge. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
So what is
that
like Guild Honor,
that 45 seconds. Yeah.
Immortal Dungeon? Do you have any
Yeah, I don't know. So, all right, I'm aware that there are people who have, that 40 mil plus cap. I don't know
Yeah.
if you're one of
Nope.
them, but
All
like,
you.
I'm not even close to that. I don't even have 30 mil cap yet.
Uh-huh.
But I am in the one. I think I could get to 1.5.
Okay.
I think
Oh wow.
if I lucked out and the GD
Everything worked out.
boss, if he didn't go to the right and he just followed me to the left, I
Yeah.
think I could, because both times I've actually tried, like since this revamp, he's gone to the right and I gotta chase him.
Yeah.
That's such a first world problem to have,
Yeah.
isn't
Yeah.
it?
That's.
Like complaining about a computer boss going the wrong way. Um,
But oh, okay.
but
That's
yeah,
good. Yeah.
if he went to the left, I think I could reach 1.5.
Okay.
And then GHB, I'm gonna talk multi-target because
Yeah.
single target I haven't done a full test yet. Though I did get to one. I just did it the other day. I got to. I think I got to 150 bill on single target, which
Hmm.
kind of shocked me because my previous high was like 115.
And you're probably
Um,
like mid 20s or close to 30 mil cap.
My cap now is 26.3. I actually had a
Oh wow.
big boost. I suppose I can share this here and make a lot of people jealous. I had 15 Radiant Exalt Stones saved up, 14 30% ones and one 50% one. So that'll tell you I spent X dollars to get that. I had 15 saved up, and I did
Just
them
went for
all
it.
just
Yeah, just went
straight
for it.
shot, and I got 8 out of the 15 to hit,
Oh, nice.
which was unbelievable.
Oh
I
yeah,
was like, I was in shock. I was like,
yeah.
what? It's like this makes up for the number of times it took me to get my Absol labs to hit.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I mean, I have all 4, but it took a while to get them.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, it took. I want to say so. I bought 2, but the other 2, I want to say it was like I went 2 for 35 or something like that.
yeah. I
I was
think
like, 10% chance. That's kind of BS.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think I'm still working my cape. My cape is 30 plus attempts,
Mhm.
and I think like my hat
That's
was like
unreal. That's unbelievable.
it's funny because like I think my hat was I think 2 out of the 3 were like less than 5, and then my shoulders took like almost 30 plus, and then my cape is still going, and then I just went for the gloves and I hit on the first try. So just
Nice. Let's go.
just next just next
Yeah,
on,
but that's a
just
good
kind of just
feeling.
like
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
First try's got to be a nice feeling.
insane. Yeah, now it's gonna go every other. It's gonna go like less than 5, and then next one's gonna take 30, and then
Yeah.
next one's gonna get me back.
So I guess here's like a fun little personal story. I've actually of all of my gear, I mean, and I have to exclude the 2. So my hat and shoulders I bought. So the Absolab overall, the Absolab cape, and then my Necro gloves, Necro shoes, and Necro weapon. Of all of that gear, I don't think I've been the one responsible for landing any of them. I've had to hand my phone off to friends and family to
Dude,
do it
whatever
for
it
me.
takes, right? Whatever, yeah.
It's never been me
Superstitious, right?
doing the click.
Yeah,
I've tried many times myself, it never goes through, but I've
unreal.
handed it to my brother. My brother's been like, "What do I do? What am I doing?" I just press
Yeah.
this button. I'm like, "Just do it." And he does it, and it goes through, and I'm like, "Yes!"
He's like, oh yeah, well, okay, cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was at a wedding and here's another shout out. So two guildies of ours got married in November. Oh boy, when they get married? November. They got married in November, November of 23. And a couple of us made the trip out to California to go to the wedding.
Nice.
Shout out Stephen and Shirlene. Congrats on your wedding, guys.
The other Steven.
Yeah, the other Stephen. Yeah.
Nice.
All right. I guess I'm the other Stephen because
Yeah, right, right.
he got married, so I'm the other Stephen. So Stephen and Shirlene got married. And at the wedding, the 2 of them were like, everyone's gonna get together and we're gonna do these attempts, these Absolab
Love
attempts.
it. I love it.
And I felt horrible because I was the one that
That's what
passed. But again, I gave my phone to someone else to do the attempt for me. Cheeky.
That's
I
fun.
don't want. Yeah,
That's
she
fun.
also she doesn't play Maple anymore, but she did.
Yeah.
Cheeky was her IGN. Anyway, so she was the one that passed the Absolab for me, and I felt horrible. I was like, oh god, I'm
Yeah.
gonna go the only one that passed it. It was like,
It's always awkward, right? Everyone does it and you're the one that passes. And it's like,
obviously, I was excited because it was
everyone's
like,
like, woo, congrats.
yeah,
And like half-heartedly.
yeah. I was like, my immediate reaction was like, it wasn't even me. I didn't. It wasn't me. It was her. She had my phone.
No,
But
that's
yeah,
awesome.
no, it was. I don't even know where we were going with that, but I guess
No,
just
yeah.
to circle back to the Thunderbreaker, I've never felt like things were so out of hand where I couldn't at least compete.
Yeah.
I've always felt that the Thunderbreaker could compete,
Hmm.
and I've always felt that all of the content was doable for the Thunderbreaker, even though survivability was always a challenge. It was a fun challenge. That's what made playing as a Thunderbreaker interesting because
Hmm.
I had to dodge, I had to, time certain attacks.
No boss
That
mechanics. Yeah.
yeah, that 170 hyper, Deep Rising, you'll get to it once you get to 170. It's our only genuine iframe. And so like using it has probably saved my character's life in many occasions, especially on like close boss runs.
Mm. Did they
And even
is
now,
that a
like
30-second
have a
iframe or did they change it to 60-second?
no, it's like 3 seconds.
Oh, what was the
Yeah,
cooldown?
it's the cooldown on on Deep Rising is 30 seconds.
Okay.
Yeah, so you basically have a about 3-second iframe
Nice.
available every 30 seconds. But you got to use it as a Thunderbreaker. You got to use it sparingly. So like,
Yeah.
I'll just give you an example. Within Damien phase 1, if I get caught in an awkward spot and fireballs are coming, and I'm like, too late to blink, too late to title crash away. Gotta use Deep Rising.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's just an example there. And then in phase 2, whenever he does the slash, and that
Hmm.
slash occurs, usually it takes more than 30 seconds for that slash to come. So, but when he does that slash attack, because that slash that'll mess you up.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that slash attack, I use Deep Rising almost every single time.
Huh.
And it keeps me safe. And if I'm the aggro against the wall, it's perfect because I don't
Yeah.
have to get out of the way. I can keep him right there, and everyone can dodge and come back.
Gotcha. So it's like that. Is it like your main mobbing skill too, right? Is it like a full map clearing attack? Is that?
It should be a full, yeah, it should be a full map clear, at least when you're in an AF or SF
Yeah.
map. Yes, it's definitely going to be a full map clear. It's really only useful in bossing for the iframe.
Yeah. Right. Right. Right.
Yeah.
So what are the biggest changes for Thunderbreaker? Has the gameplay changed? The boss mechanics, has like mobbing gotten better? Remaster?
Yeah. So the timing on Primal Bolt has absolutely changed the Thunderbreaker. It hasn't really changed. All right, it's not a massive overhaul. I don't want to overstate it and make it seem like it was crazy. It's definitely not a massive overhaul.
Hmm.
Um, they enhanced all of our V skills. So Lightning Cascade got big time. It got buffed up big time. It just hits more for more damage, and it hits more frequently. The biggest buff absolutely was to Lightning God Spear Strike, which is our V3.
Hmm.
And I mean, it went from being, if I were to show you one of my old, those damage charts that break out each skill and how much it did,
Yeah.
the old one would have had Lightning God Spear Strike like 4th or 5th down. Now it's number 1 by far.
Oh wow.
It activates every 2.5 to 3 seconds. I want to say, I think it's every 2.5 seconds it activates. Hits for a ton of lines, hits for really good damage, hits
So it's
through
like a
DR.
passive. It's like a passive kind of just.
Yes, it's a passive. It activates from your lightning stacks.
Gotcha.
So if you look in the skills, you'll see like you have some of your thunder and electrify skills
Yeah.
that will activate. Or actually, it might be the lightning lord one. Let me see if it's what it's called. It's the lightning elemental. When you have the lightning elemental summoned, and then that'll grant you your lightning stacks.
Yeah.
And so when those lightning stacks are activated, it keeps your DPS pumping, just keeps everything going real nice.
Nice.
And then that V skill will just continue to activate nonstop.
Yeah.
I think it uses up a couple lightning stacks to activate it. It's one of the V skills has to use up some lightning stacks to activate it, but I mean they're just constantly activated,
Constantly.
so it's
Yeah.
just constantly going. But yeah, the Primal Bolt was the biggest change in terms of the mechanics of the Thunderbreaker. Primal Bolt used to be 2-minute duration,
Hmm.
and then the 3-minute cooldown. So it was up for 120 seconds and then down for 60 seconds.
Hmm.
So you were swinging with Typhoon and Annihilate. That was the best combo. Was the Typhoon Annihilate combo was your best combo. You were swinging with that for 2 minutes straight.
Hmm.
And you were really only breaking off of it if you had to dodge. So tidal crash is our mobility skill.
Yep.
So we dodge with tidal crash, or if you needed to throw down an iframe, you'd use Deep Rising.
Hmm.
But I had Typhoon and Annihilate were the main part of the link. Then we have our Shark Torpedo, which I humorously just call Sharknado. But it's that is another that's our V2. That used to activate every 7 seconds. I don't even remember what it was before
You
this
don't.
revamp.
You
I
don't
think,
even. It doesn't even matter.
yeah,
It's like
that's gone. That's the
yeah.
past. Yeah.
That's last month.
But yeah, I'm fairly certain it activated every 7 seconds, and they
Yeah.
decreased that by 2 seconds. So now it activates
Oh
every
wow.
5 seconds.
Nice.
And I mean, I know it doesn't seem like a lot, but it
Oh,
is. It's
that's
huge.
a lot. Yeah.
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 So that activates every few. So you have Typhoon and Annihilate are going to be the main, and then Sharknado was those 3 attacks you could link together, and for 2 minutes you could just spam that
Hmm.
over and over and over again. And then for that 1 minute when Primal Bolt was not
Was down.
active,
Yeah.
you obviously you still want to use Typhoon as often as you can, but it's no longer reusable without a cooldown.
Hmm.
I think the cooldown on Typhoon when Primal Bolt is off is 5 seconds. I want to say.
Hmm.
Does it say here? Yes, 5 seconds. So you still want to include Typhoon in your second skill link, but now you have to use our Thunderbolt attack. So the second skill link would be Thunderbolt Annihilate, and then Typhoon used every 5 seconds, and Sharknado used also every 5 seconds.
Okay. So
Um, so it used to be 2 minutes of just the
uptime.
Typhoon Annihilate over and over
Yeah.
and over again, and then 1 minute of the other thing. Now it's 45 seconds. And I think they had to do that because they really enhanced the number of lines we have. I mean, big time. If Thunderbreaker had 2 minutes of Primal
Yeah.
Bolt active, I mean, forget it. That
Yeah.
18,000 lines would be more like 22,000 lines.
Yeah.
Yeah, forget it. It would be unbelievable. So I think
So, and it's
it
still
made sense.
3 minute. It's still a 3 minute cooldown, right?
It's still a 3 minute cooldown, so it's 45 seconds of Primal Bolt and then 2 minutes 15 seconds
Hmm.
of no Primal Bolt. And it does. It has absolutely changed things because
All right.
you don't
For
want to
sure.
miss when Primal Bolt comes back up. You don't want to miss it, right?
Right. 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 Right.
So it's a little challenging for me because what they did with the Thunderbreaker is they made all of our skills blue.
Right.
Primal Bolt used to be orange.
Right.
This is so funny. I think this is hilarious, but
Oh
I'm
yeah.
kind of loving it. And Primal Bolt used to be orange, so I could look at my skills and be like, "Where's the orange one? That's
Right.
the only one I really care about. That's the only one I need to check."
Right.
And when it was gone, I'd be like, "All right, cool." And then when it came back, I was like, "I'm good to go."
There it is. Yeah. There it is.
Now everything's blue, and I admit my eyesight's not great, and I'm
I mean, it's all
too
this. Yeah.
reluctant. Yeah, too reluctant to get glasses, so I can't tell which one's Primal Bolt. I have
Right.
no idea. So
Yeah.
I had to change my skill wheel up a little bit, so I have it on my skill wheel now, just chilling right in the middle there, so I
Yeah.
can see it when it
Right.
comes back.
Uh-huh.
Um,
That's
so
funny.
it did change in that regard. Again, it's a silly change, but it is something that just mildly keeps things interesting, and
Yeah.
I like it because it makes I got to be on my toes because as soon as it's Primal Bolt is ready, I want to hit it because
Right.
like that's massive DPS for
Huge
the
damage.
Thunderbreaker.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's huge damage just because Typhoon is an insanely strong attack for us.
Yeah. I like that. No, I was, it kind of reminds me of Dawn War. I know, and I was talking to Dawn War, it's kind of the same thing where they've lowered the, uptime basically, right? I think it used to be two
Mm-hmm.
minutes. They totally revamped it where it was 2 minutes on, 1 minute off. And now I think it's like 30 seconds on, 90 seconds, and the CD is 90 seconds or whatever. So it's like shorter
Okay.
windows, the cooldowns are shorter, but it's completely, the gameplay changes just a little bit, right?
Yeah.
And it makes it for, having to take advantage of that 45 seconds for you, right? Like
Yeah.
if you miss it,
Yeah.
you're kind of like, well, shit.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
If you miss even a few seconds of this, and
Yeah.
so it's changed. I'll tell you what, it really has changed. It has changed GD and GHB. So
Mm,
previously like both of those only last 1 minute. So I
yeah.
could wait for Primal Bolt to activate and then I could
Yeah.
just go in.
Go
And
in.
I'd
Right.
have like 15 seconds to spare and I'd still
Yeah.
have a minute and a half of Primal Bolt still ready to go.
Right.
Now can't do that. I gotta go in. I go in to both of those now with like Primal Bolt 30 seconds away from activating.
Yeah.
Not 30 seconds, like 20 seconds away from activating.
Yeah.
So then by the time it starts, it's only got like 10 seconds to go.
Yeah.
So instead of Primal Bolt being up for the whole time, it's up for like a middle 45
Yeah.
seconds.
Yeah.
Does that
Yeah.
make
Yeah.
sense?
No, yep. Exactly.
Yeah.
That's how
So that's the new strategy.
Demon Slayer is like that too, where it's like
Yeah.
it used to be 90 seconds uptime, now it's 45 seconds, right? So you kind of just
Yeah.
already know you're not going to get it for the entire duration. And
Yeah.
maybe that seems to be the way they're trending. I've noticed, a lot of rebalances when they do actually change it up, they've been going away from everything used to be like what you said, 2 minutes on,
2 minutes. Yeah.
and then like a 3 minute cooldown. Now it seems like they're slowly trying to play with it, trying to see if, because I think, you
Shorter
know,
burst windows.
it's because everything is shorter. Damien's already going to get shorter. Like it's still 10 minutes long, but then every other content is so short. right? And it just feels like,
Yeah, yeah, it's unbelievable.
a
Yeah,
little bit more, right? But just with
we
the
can do
cap that's
Arc in
going
like a
on.
minute now. It's
Yeah.
great. Yeah,
Yeah. Just fair trade, and people are just,
yeah,
it's,
yeah,
I mean, that just,
yeah,
it's crazy to see. I always tell people, right, they get so frustrated with how long, 10-minute fights are. And then you look back 6 months later, and you're like, oh, now
now
it's,
it's 1 minute.
yeah, exactly. Like, like, it's just people, I don't know, just the meta changes so quickly. And like these
Yeah, it
bosses
does.
just become so like obsolete almost, they kind of just become
Yeah,
like, so it's good that they're trying to change skills and gameplay kind of to be the mechanics of the bosses to kind of fit that sort of what the bosses are
yeah,
like now. So um I appreciate that. So you're 26 mil cap, you're probably, you talked about your burst, you talked about the lines are insane, obviously. Have you done any content this past week or
yeah. So yeah, did my first Lotus after the revamp.
Mhm.
Big time change. Big time
Yeah, it
change. I mean,
was like 20,
I
30%.
just um yeah, I got to do quick math in my head now.
Or you, I mean, yeah, just
Yes, yes, yeah. I want to say, and honestly, to be quite frank with you, I didn't even have a mechanically sound Lotus run.
Mhm.
Yeah, I kept getting stunned and knocked back.
Yeah,
So yeah, I didn't even have a mechanically sound Lotus run, but I want to say it was about a 25% DPS boost.
jeez, not
Yeah, I
bad.
might need to. I mean, I might need to check my math on that
But
later.
that's the funny thing about these
Yeah,
bosses, right? Like every run is so different. Like you can't just go off of, oh, one run, 1 weeks of runs is what it is. It's like, oh,
yeah,
next one can be,
yeah,
40%, right? Next one can be so much better,
yeah.
right? As you get
But
used to the
I will say,
mechanics.
so Damien was the big thing that I noticed, right? Because we're doing Snack is doing Damien right now, and I'm going to shout us out again because I'm really proud of how much the team that we're practicing Damien with has improved.
Yep.
We were struggling big time in the beginning, and now we're basically at the point where we're getting to the world tree every single time, and we're still struggling. When the three blue balls show up,
Yeah.
that's what they are. Um,
Yep.
we're getting
We know what you're talking about. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
yeah, we're getting a little overwhelmed by having three of them there, and people are
Yeah.
just like, "Oh my god, what do we do?" And
Oh yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
sometimes we don't clear them out, and everybody amasses in the middle, and
Yeah.
then we all
Yeah.
poof. But we're getting to the world tree, and I think we're close. I think we're close. I think I mean, it could happen tomorrow. It could happen in a week.
Yep.
We're definitely getting close to. It'll be our first like basically guild clear,
Yep.
plus one non-guildy. Um,
Nice. This is
yeah.
hard mode?
Unfortunately, it's not hard mode. We're
Normal?
still on normal mode.
Nope. All good.
Yeah, no, I love Snag, but we're not quite where love is yet.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're
I mean,
not.
I,
Yeah,
I mean, if like Emperor, like we get carried pretty much by Shelter. So we have
yeah,
a, I mean, I can't say that we would be doing hard mode without, other guilds and
without
kind
them.
of, yeah.
Yeah,
So, I
yeah.
get
I
it.
think. I
I,
mean, realistically, if I went to someone and was just like, "Hey, get me into a hard run," I think someone
yeah.
would probably be like, "Yeah, we can get you in, maybe."
Yeah.
Um, I don't want to. I really want to clear with Snack.
Yeah.
I really
Love
do.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Makes it, yeah,
Yeah, I'm not in a rush. I'm not in a rush. Love is so far ahead of us. Like I don't want to. I don't need to race them. I don't need
yeah.
to race them. Like
Yeah. Can't win. Yeah.
yeah. It's just I'd rather just slowly grind my way and just
With your
enjoy the
team,
content
with your
with my
group.
guild. Yeah,
Yeah. Love it.
yeah. And I
So,
just call it my ego, but I have a little bit of pride that I want to lead Snack to victory.
yeah.
And I kind of let myself. I did join love for Lotus. Um, just because I hadn't really been getting a lot of Lotus practice in. And I was like, I need to get a practice in. So I reached out and was like, can I practice with one of your teams? And they're like, we actually have a team that needs a spot that's just going to do a clear. And I was like, okay.
All right.
And I joined
Sure.
them and I did a run there and I saw what it was like to clear that. And I was just like, okay, I got to go back to Snack. I felt guilty right away. I was like, oh, I shouldn't have done this. I
So
got to
that's
go back to Snack now and be like, hey guys, I cleared.
yeah.
Yeah, but after that, I was just like, all right, I'm not doing that again. I want to clear a
Yeah.
Snack going
Yeah.
forward.
I respect it. I respect it. So what is so I guess obviously Thunderbreaker right now is rightfully so, probably, top 5, top 10, probably. Like, what do you say? A tier, S tier, lines wise, damage wise, probably.
So if that I put the Excel chart over here. If that Excel chart is accurate,
Mhm.
S tier lines for
Yeah,
sure.
for sure.
Um, Clearly not as good as the Mercedes, and I get that, but I don't think anyone's as good as the Mercedes right now. That Mercedes seems to be way ahead of everyone in
Yeah,
terms of single damage lines. It's like almost 20,000, I want to say.
yeah.
Um, but I would say S tier for lines. I think the fact that we don't have extended iframes
Yep,
probably fairly so, right? Because our lines are so good, right?
yep.
So it balances out. Probably makes the overall Thunderbreaker, I would say, A tier. I
There's no
think it's an
self
A
healing, right?
tier.
You don't have
No
any.
self healing.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, we rely on bishops and Demon Slayer can heal a party, right?
Yeah.
And Sia as well, right?
Uh,
Can the
I
Sia heal as well?
I think they have some other mechanics. I don't think if they can heal, but yeah,
That's not healing. Yeah,
you
they
know,
do have some sort of like protection skills though that keep us alive. I know that.
Phantoms can take heal if they wanted to. Just
Right. They don't
yeah.
know. They don't always though. Yeah. Phantoms can do everything,
Yeah,
man. Like,
yeah, yeah. Basically, exactly.
yeah.
No, okay, yeah. I mean that makes sense, right? Like damage wise, they seem insane, right? Just mobility makes it just a little more challenging, right? More less room for
Well, so
error,
I don't want to. I don't want to. Yeah. So the Thunderbreaker mobility is pretty good. They did
right?
nerf it, so that's actually something else that got changed. Tidal Crash used to be a very smooth. You could just spam it, and it would like you do your wave, and then you'd very smoothly transition into the next one.
Mm,
Now it's a bit more rigid. Like I'm
mm,
sure when you click Tidal Crash, it's
yeah,
like a quick dash, and then there's a clear stop, and then you
yeah,
do a dash again, clear
yeah,
stop. Whereas it used to be kind of a smooth, continuous Tidal
yeah,
Crash thing.
right. It used to be kind of like
I don't
yeah,
know though. Yeah, it was
yeah.
very fluid. It was
I know
very
what you're talking
fluid.
about.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Now it's much more of a clear stop in between each time you use the skill.
Yeah,
With that being said, it's still a great mobility skill.
yeah,
Thunderbreaker can very easily get out of the way of certain things as long as I'm ready for it.
right.
Right. So if I don't hit blink in time to dodge, the popcorn
Yeah,
in Damien, I can Tidal Crash to the other side of the map pretty quickly.
nice.
So
Yeah,
that's, the only reason I wouldn't is if, there's something else there blocking my way that might kill me. Um, but yeah, so I think A tier overall because we can't just always stand there DPSing and tank.
yeah,
Um, because again, we only have the brief iframe right there.
yeah,
But lines alone for sure, I would say S. And even our
yeah.
skill damage has really improved. It
Oh
really
yeah.
has. Yeah, I don't think it's as high as other classes,
Mhm.
but I want to say it's good enough. It's good
Yeah,
enough
yeah.
for where our lines are. It's good enough.
That's great. Great to hear. That's awesome. I guess kind of the last questions that I kind of had
Yeah,
was more about what is the future like? What does Thunderbreakers like V4 look like? What is that? Do you have any idea of what that would be like?
yeah. Oh man, I just had this up, and then I decided to pull up what restaurant I'm going to get food from, and I pulled down the website. Oh man,
Priorities. I get
yeah, yeah.
it.
I was hungry. I had the website up that shows all the V4 skill or all the V skills.
Yeah.
Um, I don't I admittedly I don't know much about it.
Okay.
Let me honestly I can probably pull it up pretty quickly and see if I can quickly take a look. But I do remember being really excited about the Thunderbreaker V skills in general
Hmm.
because we just Sharknado is an active skill. Got to
Hmm.
click that one.
Yeah.
But Lightning Cascade and the Lightning God Spear Strike are passive skills.
That's really good.
I remember being happy because here's fifth job skills. Yeah, all right. Let me pull this up real quick. Pirates, Thunderbreaker. So it's called the where is it? Am I blind? We got Lightning Cascade. Yep, Lightning God Spear Strike. Oh, here it is. The Lightning Spear Multi Strike. So it's very similar to the Lightning God Spear Strike. It's just called Lightning Spear Multi Strike. Um, I believe this is an active skill,
Oh, okay.
if I'm not mistaken. And that kind of got me excited because even though passive skills, that's really where the DPS comes from for a lot of
Right.
classes.
Yeah, yeah,
I like active skills. When you get a
right.
new active skill, it's always really fun because you're just like, ooh, does this change the way I have to play the game?
Yeah.
So I was really excited for V2. I knew I was going to be excited for V3 because I knew Lightning God Spear Strike was a strong attack
Mm.
and I knew it was going to really enhance our DPS. I think I'm more excited for V4.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I knew it was Lightning Strike. I just forgot what it's called, but it's an active skill, which makes me really happy.
Is it a shorter cooldown or is
I
it?
hope you know what I should condition that. I hope it's an active skill. I
Yeah.
hope they don't make it a passive. Everything that I've read though makes it seem like it's an active skill.
Yeah.
Because it talks about linking it with other things.
Mm.
Um, honestly, I would be heartbroken if it was a passive.
Well,
I kind of would be.
I take your word. I hope it is an active too. Well,
Yeah,
I mean, I'm right there with you, right? Like active skills just feels like there's more. You to press more buttons, right? Got to let it test some stuff. You can use it when you want to
yeah,
use it, right? Passives. I think passive skills are nice, but they get kind of boring. Like over time, just like when you don't really have control over it, like when they just
yeah,
lines that are just there. It looks nice, but I feel like having control of the skills, using it when defense smash four is up, having with split or whatever, like having an actual like burst
yeah.
kill,
That's
when you
another thing.
it
So
feels
like
nice.
when I totally forgot about DS4. So when DS4 activates and Primal Bolt is up, I
Oh yeah.
honestly like
Yeah.
that's Thunderbreaker at all of its might.
Right. Right. Yeah.
Any
Yeah.
class, obviously. Like I'm sure when DS4 is up and that Paladin V3 skill goes,
Yeah.
whoo,
Yeah.
whoo,
But
yeah,
that's good.
that
I
Paladin
think
V3 skill is crazy.
it's crazy. Yeah. It's, I mean, we had good bursts
What's it
before
called?
that. It's I think it's called Grand Guardian or something like that.
Grand Guardian. Yeah,
It's just
I
that
can
big
probably
cross.
pull it up for you.
Let me see. I think that's what it's called. But
Yeah, I remember like so if I don't know how often you if you still run CRA or CRA, whatever you call it.
yeah, yeah.
Um, what do you call it, by the way? Sorry to go on a
CRA. I
tangent
just call
because
it CRA.
you call it
Yeah.
CRA. All right, I call it CRA and CRA. We got people in Snack who call it CRA.
Zero.
And I'm like, what are you doing?
I'm sure
CRA?
people. I'm
Like,
sure people. Pretty sure people say Zero. I don't know. Like
yeah.
I just see it typed out. I don't.
Yeah, I'm always like CRA or CRA.
Yeah.
I don't know why I say CRA, but it makes sense to me. Why can't I see the paladin on this list? It's a warrior, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Let me see right here. It is
Oh,
called.
it's going to be under warrior. That's why.
Yeah, Grand Guardian is the V3, and then our V4 is pretty insane too. But
Yeah.
yeah,
So, are
it's
you hyped up for that?
yeah. It's completely different. It's kind of like three charges. It's hammers that kind of just go flying around. So it's kind of mobbing, but also good for bossing. It's like three charges, 10-second cooldowns of each. So you can kind
Oh,
of
nice.
play with it and do your thing. But yeah, it's I'm all about the active skill because paladins are pretty straightforward. They used to be just kind of
Hmm.
one preset, and then when that V3 skill is up, it's a hold down skill. But other than that, we're just spamming the same preset. So it
Yeah.
kind of gets boring.
I
So
have a paladin alt that I'm slowly getting up to level 200. So I'm kind of
yeah.
excited to get to level 200.
Oh
It's on
yeah.
my bishop account. It's my number two on my bishop account.
Yeah.
And I'm excited to get it to 200. It's going to take me a while, admittedly, but I'll get it there eventually and see
Oh,
what those V skills are all about.
oh yeah. 200 is where it's at. I mean, everything for Paladin is
Yeah.
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 But yeah.
Especially now that we have this crazy burning event too. Like I've been busy this week, so I'm way behind on my creating. And I made another Thunderbreaker. I had to, obviously.
Had to. Right. Yeah.
But I'm way behind on it. It's not even at 140 yet. But I want to get to 140 quickly so I can do
Burn it
that
again.
link and what is it? Every 2 level you get 2 levels.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my god, I could get a couple characters to 200 with that. I got like 3 characters at 190 right now. I could get them all to 200 real quick.
Those last 10 levels are rough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially if you're not training during hot time. It's
Yeah.
brutal out there when you're not on hot time.
Yeah. Yeah.
And honestly, like I'm in AF 380 right now, and like once you're in AF 380, everything else just seems
Oh yeah.
horrible. It moves in slow motion. Like I'm so spoiled by AF
Oh
380 now.
man. It's so
Everything else
funny.
is absolute slow. Like I went into SF 194 on my shade the other day during
Yeah.
hot time, and I got like 1%. I was like, "What is this?" I was like, "What happened to 194?"
Yeah. It's funny when we're like node farming at like AF 170. That used to be
Yeah.
the place to node farm, and now you just go to 380 and you're just like, well, the
Oh
nozzles are great, the
yeah,
nodes are the
forget
same.
it.
Like, yeah.
The nodes are great, and I'm one of those people. I actually run a drop rate set because I didn't want to spend any of my Mesos on nodes.
Yeah.
I was
Right.
like, I'm trying to exalt.
Yeah.
That's really like all I
Priority.
really
Yeah.
want to do right now. I'm trying to
Yeah.
exalt. So I was like, I don't want to spend anything on Mesos, so I run a drop rate set, and I
Yeah.
get
Thinking about it.
a lot of nodes,
Thinking about
a lot
it.
of
Thinking
nodes.
about it. Yeah. I know. Uh yeah. Anything.
I think it's
So,
worth it. I rack up nodes unbelievably quickly in
oh,
AF3. It takes me like 2 weeks to get up to like 100,
oh yeah.
sometimes even less.
It's actually insane.
Yeah.
Insane to think about. So anything else you want to talk about? Any predictions? Anything you wish that Nexon would do? Anything, your guildies have been wanting, and I don't know if it's feedback or things
Um.
like that.
Oh man, I'm sure my guildies want the same thing all the other guilds want, which is better transparency. Who
Yeah,
doesn't want better transparency?
I get it. Yeah.
Um. No, gosh, predictions. Goodness. Um. I My biggest hope is that the V4 is inactive for Thunderbreaker specifically. I
Yeah.
really like. I've been sitting on that one for the past couple of months now. Now that we're in 2024, and
Yeah.
I can start thinking about the V4 skills. I really do want it to be an active skill
I sent,
because
have you seen
it'll
the
add
video,
another
the
layer.
fifth job videos from KMSM?
No,
Or
I have not.
not
I
the
should look at
V4?
that.
I'll send
Yeah,
it to you. I'll send it
I
to you.
should look at
There's
that. Yeah.
they have they posted it, and yeah, you'll be able to tell if it's an active or passive or not.
Okay, awesome. I mean, the description really does make it seem like it's inactive because it talks about linking with other things, and it talks about you can continue to use this. I think it might be a continuous skill.
Hmm.
Like we might have to like hold the button down.
Yeah.
Which would be very new for the Thunderbreaker. We don't have any of those skills,
Yeah.
so that would be very new for us, and I would welcome that, especially if it was really strong.
Yeah.
Um, but so yeah, my hope is that it's an active skill. I'm going to be honest with you, and I know people are going to disagree with me on this one. Who is the next commander after Damien?
I think it's Lucid.
I hope we have some time before Lucid comes out. I would like a little bit more time with Damien, admittedly, before Lucid comes out. And I know Snack. I know. I mean, look, in Inoysis, Love is obviously they've cleared Damien and Hard Damien, and they're way ahead of everything, and they're probably ready for Lucid. But the other guilds are we're still trying to grind through Damien, and I would love a little bit more time for us to
Yeah.
have a chance to make some stigma crystals.
Yeah. I'm gonna be honest. Our server's not far ahead. I think we have three hard Damien teams that have
Okay,
cleared. And I think we have the third one just did it. Maybe in the past, they just got their first stone this past week. So
so they're
I
all right.
mean,
So
we're
that's three clears,
so
right?
yeah, and then we have maybe a handful that are doing normal Damien.
Doing normal, yeah.
Um, so I mean, I'm
Yeah,
right there with you,
I don't know
right?
how
Like
many teams are doing
it's
hard Damien. I mean, I would say it's probably two or three.
yeah,
Again, doing hard Damien in Enosis, and then there's again. I mean, it's all Love, right? Love has the two or three teams, and I think they've got one person from Snack who runs with them that does the hard Damien, and
hmm
then there's a couple people in Snack who run normal Damien.
yeah,
Um, but they're trying to help and make sure Snack clears first now, though.
yeah,
So I mean, we were so close. I really thought we were going to pass last night. We were so darn close.
yeah,
Um, I think we were pretty good on lives. We had like 6 lives left in one of them, and we just ran out of time.
mm.
So
It's crazy.
DPS wise, we're not there yet, but we're getting there. We're getting
Yeah,
there.
yeah. I mean, it's crazy how each run can be different, right? Like just something goes a little bit smoother. Sometimes RNG is a little bit better, and you can get more uptime. And like I
Yeah.
swear, you can go from not running out of time to like clearing in like 60 seconds left. Like, you know, it's actually that big of a difference.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh,
I think what's huge for us, honestly, is we sometimes um are not as smooth as we should be
mhm.
on the transition of who needs to bring
Orbs,
the
the
orb to the
balls.
other
Yeah.
side. Yeah, I think sometimes we lose out on a couple seconds of DPS. Also, we're definitely losing out on several seconds of DPS when Benny's up. There's a couple people who we throw Benny up obviously to prevent from getting stuck from the blue. What are they called again? The blue slashes that come
I
down.
call them like globs or something, but
Yeah,
yeah,
the blue. Everything's
the
blue in
stun
Maine, man.
scales.
Everything's blue nowadays in
I know what you're
Maplestory.
talking
I'm
about
like,
though. Yeah.
what happened to my orange? That made it was easy to see. I knew exactly when
uh,
Primal Vault was gone.
yeah.
Anyway, the blue strikes that come down, and if they hit you, they create the thing that petrifies you, obviously. So we still have a couple people, and I include myself in this. Like I see those, and I'm like, fly up, dodge them, don't
Run
get hit
away.
by that.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
And you know, our bishop's just like, dude, I have Benny up, and I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot,
Yeah.
sorry.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, and I lose like 5 to 10 5 seconds of DPS right there, and you
Yeah.
know that adds up if multiple people do that, or it happens several times. So
Yeah. Or if their
mechanically,
primal bolts
we're
up. Yeah.
getting yeah, mechanically we're getting so much better, and it's fun. On honestly, it's fun failing with these guys. You know, it's what a weird thing to say, but
Oh no, I
it's
get it.
fun failing with these guys because I know we're gonna get it, and everyone's gonna be stoked. And then all of a sudden, we're just gonna be like, all right, now that we got this, let's get the guild going. Let's
Yeah.
get everyone through.
Yeah. After get that first clear, it kind of everything kind of just like that monkey off your back, you know, the stress of getting that
Yeah,
first clear. After that, it kind of goes a lot smoother, you know.
yeah.
It's amazing how just getting that first one is always the hardest. But
You know what? You asked me something that I want. I want Nexon to bring back the flying whale mount.
flying whale,
Because as a Thunderbreaker, I feel it is my responsibility to
right?
have every single whale mount out there.
Yeah,
After all, our 170 is a giant whale.
yeah.
I need every
That's what
whale.
you're known for. It's iconic,
Yeah,
right?
that's
Yeah,
the only whale mount I don't have is the flying whale mount. So I like Nexon, bring that back.
bring it
I'll
back.
like in a surprise shop or
Yeah,
somehow bring it back.
yeah.
I'll buy it like 100%. I'll buy it. I need it.
I love it, love it.
So I'd love to see that flying whale mount come back. I don't want to leave you hanging. I'm trying to think if there's any other predictions I have.
Nope, you're all good.
Um, I, you know what? I was actually so the arc was the last pirate class
Mhm.
to come out, including in Maple PC, right? I don't think there's another pirate class. The only other one I could think of was the Jet, which was a limited to PC. Like we're not going to get that
Yeah,
in
I don't
MSM.
think so.
So
Hmm.
this is less of a prediction and more of a desire. Let's bring pirates. Like let's get more pirates next on. Like where's why all the love for mages and thieves? Like
It's funny. Yeah, I
pirates are the best. Like come on,
yeah.
we're the best class. I'm so biased.
You know, you're one of the first people I say that want more pirates. But it's
I know,
but
I know.
I mean,
I
I
love
love
the
it. I
pirate
love it.
class, man,
That's awesome.
and you know, I
Represent.
don't even I couldn't even tell you why I like the pirate class so much. You know, it's because probably when I picked the cannoneer, I was just like, I like the idea that it walked around with a giant cannon.
Right.
And then I picked the Thunderbreaker because it was, you know, it was a space pirate. It reminded me of Thor. It was a space pirate. um, and I was just like, Thunderbreaker is now my favorite class, obviously. So
Yeah.
because of the Cannoneer and the Thunderbreaker, and I made a Shade. Shade's another one of those classes that doesn't know how to die.
Yep. It's crazy what they
um,
got in their kit, their
yeah,
toolkit.
yeah. So, but I like my Shade a lot, and my Shade's over level 200. I've got the V skills on it, and it's a good time.
Yeah.
So I'm very biased. I have a little pirate army. Like my top, what are there? There's 8 or 9 pirate classes. I don't even know. My top 8, 9 classes, whatever it is, they're all pirates.
Wow.
They're all pirates.
Represent.
Yeah, I have a pirate army, and they all have chance in the name. Every single one.
That's all you. Yeah.
Yeah, every single pirate has a name. So if you ever, I mean, I don't know. I know you're in Scania, but like anyone that sees a chance hopping around. Although you know what, one of my guildies made a character with chance in the name. And kind of, you know, I was like, I can't believe it. But yeah, usually when you see Chance, someone with Chance running around, it's probably me.
That's you. Nice. Well, maybe if we merge, maybe if the servers merge one time, one day,
Oh,
we'll be able to.
that's another. I do think the servers are going to merge. I think we
Yeah,
have to.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
maybe later this year.
Well, maybe we'll see you around, and we'll get some see some Quins around,
Yeah,
and maybe get some.
you guys will finally have some Thunderbreakers doing stuff within the world
Hopefully,
of Scania,
hopefully
right?
after this, I know I'm hoping that after they hear this conversation, hear you talk about it, the love fest, and maybe
Yeah,
people. Yeah, I mean, I think it's a great class. It sounds like it. It sounds fun.
it's
It sounds
fun. I mean,
mobile.
I think it's fun. The skills are cool. I think the
Yeah,
skills are cool. It's again, it's lightning and sharks.
yeah,
Come on,
yeah,
come on.
yeah,
What's not to love about
yeah.
lightning and sharks, man? Like,
I'm with you. I'm with you.
no,
All right, man.
yeah,
Well, thank you again. Appreciate it. This is kind of last minute.
no,
Fri-
yeah, absolutely.
Friday night. I appreciate it for real. Means a lot. Um, yeah, and enjoy the Thunderbreaker
I certainly am. I certainly
experience.
will.
Yeah,
I yeah, appreciate you bringing me on. This again. This is a fun thing to do.
yeah,
I'll definitely try to spread the love and share the video. I've already told a couple people about it
yeah,
in Snack, and I think they'll give it a look and get more people interested in what you're doing, man. This is cool. Keep it
yeah.
up. It's awesome.
Thank you. Shout out to Snack.
Yes, Snack, best guild, true number one.
All right,
All
man.
right,
Thank you.
appreciate it, man.
Cheers.
Have a good night. Good
You too.
weekend.
See you.